Okay folks, 2003 Eurovan VR6, obviously. I'm getting ready to do the timing chains, so that's going to entail dropping the transmission and replacing all the guides and sprockets and whatnot. The noise is not that bad, but it's got 188,000 on it, and I don't want to risk it. Just bought the car about 6 months ago, 4 months ago. Anyway, I'll let you listen. Maybe it sounds like the chain's rubbing against the guide or the guide's worn. It doesn't make a terrible racket or anything, but I can kind of hear something. So that's it. We're gonna do it. Maybe I'll video it, or maybe I won't. Okay, so 188,000, and I bought this car from the original owner, who has not done any engine maintenance in terms of replacing anything except change the oil and the transmission fluid, and that's it. I mean, I had the original water pump, I replaced that recently, but I'm getting ready to do timing chains, and here's a little sound of what they sound like currently. Doesn't sound too bad, but nevertheless, 188,000, I don't want to risk it, so I'm getting ready to drop the transmission. Okay, so this is several steps in. I've taken out the coils and disconnected a lot of the plumbing and vacuum lines. Moved the radiator, tilted the radiator back, and dropped my piece of wood down in here now. At any rate, it's not terribly difficult. Just having to tear all this stuff off the motor. Okay, so this is a continuation of doing the timing chain job on this 2003 Eurovan VR6. And I just got the intake manifold off, which was kind of a bear, getting those bolts that are all along the front edge of that thing off. And this thing's seen better days. It's pretty nasty under here. I think I mentioned before, the person that owned this van before me was the original owner. It's got 188,000 on it, miles right now. And the guy basically did nothing other than change the oil. He said that's all he did. He has all the, documentation, but I think that's apparent by the looks of things. It's pretty crusty. And valve cover gasket is leaking everywhere. So there's that guy off. Pain in the ass. All those bolts along the bottom, and it's not just the ones along the bottom, there's ones in between that are a real pain in the ass to get to. So that's going to be a lot of fun to put back on and torque back down. Anyway, I'll keep making videos and keep you apprised. I'm trying to figure out right now how much of this I need to tear down before just pulling the transmission. So I think I'm just going to put it up on jack stands and pull the wheel, pull the drive shaft on the driver's side, and then just disconnect the half shaft on the passenger side, and then just try to separate the transmission from the motor. Obviously support it, but I'll shoot another video, but this is an update. 2003 Eurovan continued. Okay, so I'm like halfway through this project, moving transmission from the engine, and I don't know if you can see down in there very well, but there's the flywheel. At any rate, basically I just rigged a chain on my hoist, and it just went straight down the front, and then I put a metal rigging at the bottom under here with a hook on a couple pieces of steel off of the couple bolts there on the block. I just ran a bolt through and had like a metal sleeve around it to keep it from pivoting up. So I don't know if you can see it any better over here, but it's a hodgepodge of metal work. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. There's more to come. There's been a lot of places on here where I've had to just disconnect a whole bunch of shit that I didn't think that I needed to at first. So I think if I would have attacked this with a little more gusto in terms of like, okay, I basically have to strip the thing down like I'm removing the engine. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, because you're taking off, you know, the intake manifold and all the wiring, all of this like total mess of shit plumbing that they have going on over here with all the water hoses that are fucking going everywhere, all kinds of T-joints and all kinds of ridiculousness. Anyway, I'm hoping to have this transmission out of here in short order. I do have a transmission jack here as well. And it's really weird because you cannot get this transmission out without lowering the engine. So that's why I had to rig the hoist and everything, because I was perfectly fine supporting the engine from underneath before and taking the transmission off, but it just will not come out of there. There's a yoke on the back of the transmission that drives the CV on the passenger side that is basically kind of interfering right where the back of the oil pan is. And there's just not enough room across there to get it out, so I'm gonna have to lower the engine down, I think probably at least 4 or 5 inches, maybe more, before that thing will clear. So it's a pain in the ass. Everything on this car is a pain in the ass. Anyway, maybe I'll be rethinking that when I'm camping somewhere with my kids. Anyway, I'll make another video pretty soon. Okay, update. Got the transmission out and the torque converter. So this thing was a real bear to get out. Definitely had to lower the motor to get it to come out of there. This yoke here was actually hitting the back of the oil pan, but it's out. And I also just got the valve cover off. So was able to pop that guy off, and I'm pleasantly surprised that it actually looks pretty clean. Like the oil's been changed and I don't see any sludge or any weirdness. A lot of little bit of build up here and there, but I've seen worse, especially on a motor that's kind of packed in to a tight space that probably runs pretty warm most of the time. But it's looking good so far. I'm just getting ready to take off the upper timing cover on the side here, and I should be able to get a look at the upper tensioner and some of these guides. I mean, just looking from up here, everything looks good, but that doesn't really mean anything until I get in there and actually take a look at the gears and, well, some of the sprockets and the other tensioners and plastic bits that are down on the bottom side there. So, got the flywheel off as well. Sorry, I know it's crappy to see down here. So there's the flywheel, there's the crank. Looks like I just have to take all these surface bolts off of this lower cover. I've got pretty much all the bolts out of the upper cover, and you can see where there is a head gasket material. It's like a metal head gasket material that sticks out in between the lower cover and the upper cover. So I got to be careful not to bend that up or anything. But I'll grab another video once I get these covers off and actually get a look at the rest of the bits. All right, cheers.